Let's talk about practicality for a minute. As an automotive enthusiast, we want to have as much fun as our dollar will allow. As much fun as it would be to drive a Ferrari F40 every day, it's just not financially feasible. Now step in hot hatchbacks. Most hot hatchbacks have been around for some time now, now in the 40th year with the Golf GTI in its 7th generation. There have been many other offerings that have come up, mostly from across the pond, but a few here stateside. Now with Ford seems to be deep into the hot hatchback and turbocharged world of greatness. Now step in my 2014 Ford Focus ST, modified by Mountune, and what makes it so special today here on Hooniverse. So let's start with the standard Ford Focus ST. You have your 2-liter EcoBoost producing 252 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. While that may seem enough for most, a lot of people feel that you might want to get a little bit of extra tuning out of the car. There are various tuning companies that offer good performance gains for not much money. The big thing for me was to maintain the car's warranty. Most tuning companies will not offer any kind of warranty whatsoever, but that's where United Kingdom Ford tuner Mountune steps in. By getting performance upgrades through your dealer, you're able to maintain your vehicle warranty, and that's what I did with this car. I fitted the Mountune MP275 performance package. The performance package includes a front mount intercooler, intake, as well as a revised engine calibration. That was the basic start of what was going to be going on with this tune. I added an additional catback exhaust and started with some suspension upgrades as well a little bit later on, which is the most recent upgrade that I've done as well. By doing all this, we've kept the fun nature of the ST. It hasn't lost any of the drivability or appeal that brought me into this car to start with. So I've had a little bit of track time and a lot of canyon time in this car. The few downsides that I've seen from the ST to begin with have been the brakes themselves. Stock brakes do want to cook up in the canyons. They get very smoky and heat up quite a bit. A basic fluid and pad upgrade seemed to resolve this issue. Upgraded to Hawk HPS pads and Modal RBF 600 fluid, and that did help out a lot for track time. Now let's get down to the suspension. Mountune released their Club Sport suspension, which included their springs manufactured by Eibach, as well as Bilstein B8 dampers. Let's talk about performance for a bit. Most stock Focus STs will make between 210 and 215 horsepower to the wheels. When I started the break-in process, I made sure I drove a couple hundred miles and then properly seated the rings. When we dynoed the car at Mountune, this car made 232 horsepower to the wheels stock, which seemed like a little bit of a factory freak. So that was going to make it a little bit easier to see what kind of performance numbers that I'd be getting out of it later. With the addition of all the performance package, the MP275, exhaust, charge pipes, and the whole bit, car makes about 280 horsepower to the wheels and about 310 pound-feet of torque, depending on what kind of dyno that you're going to be running on. That keeps the nature of the ST. It doesn't go too far overboard because some performance packages want to go beyond that limit a little bit too far to make the car undrivable. As we know, torque steer is notorious in high-powered front-wheel drive cars. With the throttle map that Mountune had offered, it keeps things at bay. It's more of a European throttle map. It doesn't have the immediacy as some of the other tuning companies have, which makes the car a little bit easier to drive and a little bit easier to live with on a canyon road. Now we're going to talk about handling. Handling is still fairly neutral, with a little bit of leading the lift-off oversteer as the chassis dynamics of the Focus ST is already set up with from the beginning. I've had some track time with it. I've experienced a few bits of fun on the track, let's just call it that. Let's see how the ST does with this torque steer that I mentioned before. It's there. Ooh, I got a little squeal in the third there. Now let's go back to the inevitable question of what was going on with my ST decision. In 2014, they also released the Fiesta ST. And while I had to think very long and hard about the purchase that I did end up making, I was really, really drawn to the Fiesta ST. It has much better chassis dynamics. That is without question. It is a tighter, tauter package. It's actually more fun and rewarding to drive. But the downsides were a space inside the car. I can fit in it, yes, but I can't fit much else. And the ride comfort on highway, I know it's a hot hatch, but I do want to start thinking about that. I'd equate the Fiesta ST to being a hot hatchback sports car. The Focus ST is the hot hatchback Grand Tour. It does all of the things that you would want a Grand Tour to do, to be able to load a lot of things in the back, to be able to get on the highway for long bits of time, and actually be able to take your family with you if you need it. Not necessarily all Grand Tours do that. Now we say the long bits of time, but yes, the seats, they do intervene a little bit, but I've learned to live with it.